Well, hi guys. Back on the road. It's Tuesday today. Oh, better slow down because this thing's accelerating away because its continuous brake is useless. Turn that down one. I've got my favourite run. Red Indy Cut Wellingborough. Red Indy Cut Wellingborough. I see a Greggs in my future. I do like this run. It's just such an easy run. It's hard to describe what it's like when you get a run like this. You just sit there and you're thinking, oh, I'm getting paid for doing nothing. I'm getting paid for going for a drive. It's genius. Because there are some runs you do and they really are. You're just looking at them and you're going, oh, you're sending me there, oh no. And you really are earning your money that day. Whether it's central London or whether it's some really tiny, obscure area just outside of a council estate in Loop. I don't know, I'm just picking a place on top of my head. But when you go in and you say, there you go, have that run, and you look at it and you're like, oh, joyful, oh, that's wonderful. And you get a lot of days like that when you're a Class 1. Class 2, not so much. They only use Class 2s when Class 1s won't fit. Just so as you're aware. That's the way you look at it. 7.5 tonnes are used when Class 2s don't fit. Class 2s are used when Class 1s don't fit. And let's be honest, if a Class 1 can fit down somewhere, it's not exactly that difficult. Although there are a few places. I actually feel sorry for Iceland guys, Pound Lag guys and M&S guys. Because some of the places they have to go to. I've been delivering to places next door to where they've got to get into. And I've obviously lined up and gone into where I'm going into, and then I'm actually, as I'm lined up, I'm going past where they've got to get into, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, ooh, I wouldn't like to do that one. You know, it's doable, obviously, but it's just, ooh, that's a bit tight. Yeah, there's a few places like that I've seen. Yes, anyway, I am on with my day. Oh, it's just one of those wonderful relaxing days where I can think about things and plan things. I've started my day a bit further on down the journey and going past the A41 as you saw. So I've trundled a bit. I'm going to start playing around with where I start my day and things like that. Just change it up a bit. A change is as good as a rest. I'll most likely do something when I get to Sherwell Valley, obviously. Munching on me Greggs. Now I'm going to be good. I'm going to have some salads because they do. Actually, Greggs do a really, really, really tasty rabbit food concoction. They really do. The ham one, the egg one, they're all just really nice. It's like I bought because I'm scum, so I shop in Waitrose and M&S just to annoy everyone. I even go in there with my high vis on. But no, sometimes you go to a service area and it's Waitrose or it's M&S and stuff like that, and you pick up their salads, and they're always trying to do something really poncy. I don't know, it's asparagus with twigs of bollocks in them. I don't know, but there's always something really poncy about those salads, and you munch them and you're like, why have you mixed these flavours? Why would you do that? It's salad. You know, I'm a kebab salad kind of man. Oniony. You know, lettucey, oniony, cucumbery. Yeah. But all these other ones, it's just poncy. It's like little baby eggs from the lesser spotted ant in Upper Mongolia mixed with lettuce leaves from Argentina and rocket from bleating Brazil. You know, it just really poncy stuff, and you're looking at it, you're like, it just doesn't even taste nice. It's got It's just horrible. Whereas Greggs is specifically designed with the truck driver mentality in mind. You know, a pasty, sausage roll, donut. Yeah. You know, so it's salads. Well, it's salads are what you get in a kebab, just minus the kebab. So it's perfect. It's wonderful. It's the right balance. And because it's a salad, it's healthy. Doesn't matter whether it's a salad, you know, the mixture of salad that you get in a kebab, because the kebab's not there. So it's healthy. All this bleeding Ponzi stuff you get in Waitrose and M&S. What? How the hell do you say that berry's name? You know, you look at it, I'll give it a crack, and then you hum up. Yeah. It's always like really like, ooh. Well, you know, the people that shop in there have red wine with their dinner that costs about £100 a glass, you know. Ha! And you're like, oh, really? Oh dear. I don't want, you know, if that's what Ponzi people eat, I don't want to drink Ponzi wine, because it's got to do something to your palate. It's got to be worse than cigarettes. It has to be, because that stuff tastes horrible. But yeah, anyhow, onwards with my day, I suppose. But I was at a friend's yesterday on my one day off, on Monday. I did tweet a photo. I don't know whether anybody bothered seeing it. But he's got himself a 944 Porsche restoration project. It's a 2.5. It's not the S. It's not the 3 litre or the 2.7. It's 1987. 164,500 miles. Which, given its age, isn't that bad, really. And he bought it. It'd been off the road since it failed its MOT 4 years ago. All the whistles and bells. And he bought it, and he thought, you know, I've always, you know, I want to do a proper restoration project, because he's always tinkered with cars, but he's never done what I've done. You know, he's never done a proper nut down restoration style. And he thought, no, I'll give it a crack. So he found one specifically that needed to be trailered back, non-runner, no MOT, wants to go for it. So he trailered it back on Saturday. And he spent some time, he wanted to see whether he could get the engine going. You know, when you start one of these projects, it doesn't matter what condition the actual vehicle itself is in. As long as the engine isn't seized, try and get it started. Because at least you know what you're dealing with. Okay, even if it just turns over for 30 seconds, just so as you know that it will actually run. Because that way you know, okay, I've got an engine in there I can use. Now let's have a look at the rest of the crap. So that's what he did, you know, he got it back, he took my advice on that one, and he got the engine running. Then he put it in to a mate's garage that does MOTs, and he asked him to do an actual proper MOT, all the whistles bells, all the everything. Bunged it into this MOT, and it passed. Okay, all he did was got it running. Now remember, this thing had failed its last MOT, so God knows what the MOT tester was on at the last place, because he said it was, one of the things it failed on was the rear near side suspension strut rotten to excess. I've had a look at that strut. It's surface rust, don't get me wrong, there's surface rust there. I mean, it's a 1987 car. What do you expect? But it's not rotten. Ooh, it's not rotten. Nowhere near. There's a colour, but I mean at the front end, if anybody's familiar with 944s, at the front end when you open the bonnet, you got your suspension either side. You see where it's from. 4 nuts, bolts, either corner. Because the way they're in, they're cambered. I'm trying to do too many things at once. Because they're cambered, the nuts on the higher side, perfectly fine. They generally don't tend to rot or rust that badly, but the ones on the lower side, well, that's where all the water congregates, so they're knackered. They're proper manky. I was looking at them going, ooh, that'll be fun. And he tried to get 2 of them off and just rounded the rust, because that's literally what it was. Now he's like, oh dear. So he's going to have a little bit of work there, but nothing major. I mean, crikey, in the restoration world, if that's all you have to do to a car, that's easy. That's like my day today. But yeah, he went straight through the MOT, no advisories. He does know that the front near side brake is binding. Obviously, it's been sitting for 4 years. The calipers are probably as old as the car. It's been sitting for 4 years. The brakes are going to bind somewhere. And of course, that's not actually, for anybody who's curious, binding brakes is not actually an MOT failure. Everyone's like, I'm really surprised by that. Why didn't it fail for that? When you're in an MOT, they test the brakes by making sure the vehicle is held on the brakes. You know, they'll put it on like the rolling ramps, and they'll get the rolling ramps going, they'll hit the brake and stop, make sure that it can stop itself. So if your brakes are binding, the one thing that they're definitely doing is stopping the bloody car, so they're not going to fail for it. So yeah, he went through on that one. So he needs new brake calipers, needs to sort out the bolts on the suspension at the front end, get rid of some surface rust. There's a couple of dings and dents he's smoothing down and repainting. A couple of really minor, unbelievably minor ripples in the paintwork on the front where it's just started to get a bit of surface rust underneath style thing. Nothing major on it. So he's going to bear that back and do that. Somebody put it onto a trailer when it failed its last MOT, smushed the front end bumper, lower bumper. And that's going to take some work because where it's smushed, it's bent out. So he's going to try and repair it, but I've looked at it and thought, well, yeah, you can repair it, a bit of P38. You can fill it, smooth it back, repaint it, realign it. Might work, but if it's been sitting like that for about 4 years, chances are the material itself is fatigued now, so you're not going to be putting it back. So you might have to look to replace it. But then again, 944s, replacement parts for those aren't exactly that hard to come by. There's quite a few spares about, so he's not going to have too much of an issue with it. But yeah, so I was out having a shufty at that. Now I'm not a Porsche person, okay? I'm not. Because I just, air-cooled rear-engine vehicles just annoy me. But the 944, the 924, the 968, there's a couple of others, I can't think of the numbers off the top of my head now. They're front-engine rear drive. I like them. I've always had a soft spot for them. Now I know the 924s, everyone goes, oh, it's got your VW engine in it. It's 2 litre. Yes. But if you get one from, what is it, 87? Or is it 87? Oh, 86 or 87, I think it was. 87, 88. Those years, you can get the 2.5 that's actually in the 944. So although you don't have displayed, arches and stuff like that, you can get the vehicle with the same engine in it. And as long as you get, and they're pretty cheap, and as long as you get, if you get the one with a 2.5 in it, it's a down-tuned engine, it's a detuned engine, so it's about 150, or it was 150 horsepower compared to, what was the 944s, they were 160, so I think 160, 65? 160 something horsepower, whatever. So there's only a small difference. But if you can get the 2.5 in the 924, you can actually change out the body shell for a 944 body shell. So you've technically got a 2.5 944 body shell, but it's a 924. You've only paid 924 for it. Okay, you're going to have a little bit less horsepower, but a few tweaks, a few little adjustments here and there. We all know. A few little adjustments here and there. You're going to have a bit more horsepower. But no, I was actually thinking maybe I should get a 944. And then me and my mate Stu, we can bugger off, go around a few car shows in our 944s. But I don't like Porsche as in the 911s and things like that, the rear engine ones, because I just don't like them. I don't know why, but I've always had a soft spot for the 968 especially, and the 944s, and the 924 to be fair, but the 25s, and the 944 also has the 3 litre, 205, 204, 200 and something horsepower, whatever. So if I'm going to get one, I'm going to get the 3 litre one, and then I'm going to attack the engine with a pair of pliers and a blowtorch. I'm going to get medieval on it. I'm going to see what I can get out of the damn thing before I lunch the gearbox. Might as well, bit of fun. But that'll be a little while down the road. Yeah, I've got way too many things to sort out first. Oh, come on, go. Don't just sit there. Thank you kindly, Mercedes. But yes, anyway, I've been jabbering on for a while, so I shall shut up, and I shall most likely see you at a later stage in my day. Done the old Reading drop now. Ugh. Something's hurting right in there. I don't know what it is. It's the bone. My bones are hurting. But yes, seeing as I haven't had a toy car or a restoration car since I started my channel, I've always kind of avoided talking about cars. I don't know why. I am a petrol head. At the end of the day, I just am. I make no excuses for this. But, and yes, I have owned Alfa Romeos, 156, 164 and a 166, so but I've always avoided talking about them because obviously I don't have a toy car, I don't have a resto car, I don't have anything like that, so if I talk about them I don't really have anything else to do, I suppose. I suppose that's the reason I haven't talked about it. But since my mate Stu's gone out and got this 944, it's lit a fuse inside me. It's like, I want one. Not just a 944, just a toy car, you know, just something, as my dad would refer to it, to waste my money on. And that's the funny thing with cars, restorations and things like that. My dad worked in mechanics. Well, it was REME, Royal Electrical Mechanical Engineers, and he worked for Falls for 35, 36 years, so something like that. A long time, whatever it was. And he just views a car as a tool. You know, it's just a means to an end. It's an expense. That's it. You know, he's never really been... I suppose at some point in his life he was, yeah, a bit into cars, because he had an old Audi 100, but way back in the days. We're talking like Mark 1. And he loved that car. That was his all-time favourite car ever. And he wrote it off. The story is, he was hurtling along, and these cars were exceptionally light. We are going way back now. We're going back to when he was in the REME. So, late teens, early 20s, I suppose, and he's what, 66 now, so statute of limitations, he's clear. But he's hurtling along at a rate of knots, and the car starts to take off at the back end. And just literally it starts to lose, and it goes on him, it goes sideways on him, and he hits the crash barriers. Back in the day the crash barriers weren't exactly like they are now. They were, well, you can still ride up a crash barrier, I suppose, but it went sideways and it took off, and it went over the central reservation, over 3 lanes or 2 or 3 lanes of oncoming traffic, didn't hit a damn thing, ended up backwards in the ditch, ripped the rear axle out, everything. And just to give you some idea of how sturdy those Audi 100s used to be, when everything stopped, when they came, you know, came to a stop and everything like that, my dad could smell fuel. He could smell this overpowering, horrible. Ugh. So him and his mate jumped out the car and ran. And then they were like, "Oh my God, where's so and so?" Yeah, I don't know his name off the top of my head. Call him Dave. Everyone's got a mate called Dave. Where's Dave? He was still asleep in the back seat. He hadn't been knocked out or anything. He was asleep. They were on. They'd been on manoeuvres and things like that, and they were just going back to some barracks or something like that, somewhere. And he'd been asleep in the back. And he was still asleep in the back. Nobody got hurt. But, so at some point in my dad's younger years, he would have liked his cars. You wouldn't exactly go into mechanics if it was a means to an end, let's be fair. But nowadays, it's a pointless waste of money. Why do you want to do it? Well, to somebody who thinks like that, you know, a car is just a tool, it's a means to an end, then it is a waste of money. You know, why do you want to get something that you're going to have to spend a lot of money on to keep on the road, when you could just spend less money on a relatively new car with a warranty and everyone's happy? Perfectly fine, valid point. But the thing is, if it's something that you want to do, if it's your hobby, if it's something you like to do, what's the point? Why do we go to work to earn money? To have the things that we need and to do the things that we like. So, to my dad, who will never open a bonnet again as long as he lives, because he's done over 40 years as a mechanic, he's done with it. Which is understandable. I'm sure you can see the logic in that. I'm sure you can see the point in that. To me, it's fun. It's something wonderful. It's getting your hands dirty. So to me, it's not a waste of money. To me, it's something I like doing. So to anybody out there who has a friend or a parent, relative, brother, whatever, who always sits there going, "Oh, you're just wasting your money," this is your argument. To you, it is wasting money. To me, it is what I want to do. So how is it wasting my money? There you go. So you can settle that argument here and there. But no, car restoration, working on cars, older cars, I mean modern cars, they're all sealed units now. If something goes, you can't just replace a component part anymore. Well, that's it. Change the engine or change the car. It's all designed to just be thrown away these days. And everything's done with laptops and wonderful bits of software. This is one of the reasons I actually like my Hyundai. You open up the bonnet in the Hyundai and you can do everything. You look at it, it's like, I love you, Korea. I love you. Because you just open the bonnet and everything's there. Okay, it's massively underpowered. It's not a driver's car, but at least I can work on the bloody thing. But no, I put this into context about working on cars. My other half, she likes her iX35, but because it's her first big car, it's a family orientated car because we're gearing up to want to start a family. So she's looking forward to becoming a mum. Something she really wants to do. Obviously, I want to become a dad as well. But that car is a representation of future, of child, of she loves it. Absolutely loves it. Not to mention it's sturdy as buggery. She reversed it into a pole, bent the pole, nothing happened to the car. So if you want a sturdy car, iX35. That was quite funny, that incident. There was a guy in a car next to us. I got out at the same time as he got out of his car, and we both walked round the back and we're like, "Oh, that sounded expensive." And we had a look. Nothing wrong with the iX35. Metal pole. And she just like, "Yep, my car," and just bowls away, you know. It's funny as hell. But anyway, get round to Stu's having a look at this car. Now, Stu's other half is there, and his mum's come round, his kids and everything, day off, whatever. And change lanes. And they've obviously invited my other half in, because, you know, the two guys, boys and their toys, they're going to be talking car, you know, talking shop style stuff, because we both drive at the same place. I mean, he's a company guy, I'm not. He used to be one of me, but he's now company. And of course we're going to be talking shop, talking about cars. So they invited the other half in, and she's like, no, have a look at this. Now, when I showed her the photos of the car he bought, she's like, I don't like that. Oh, it's ugly. Oh, I don't like that. As soon as she saw it, she's like, oh, it's got some nice lines on it. Don't really see it in the photos. I like this. And so she started over, look, the bonnet's up, we're underneath it, we're on top of it, we're all that kind of stuff. And she's like, this is interesting, I like this. And within a couple of hours of being there, my other half, who has absolutely no interest in cars, she loves a GT 500, the Eleanor that was gone in 60 seconds. And if anybody is curious about the one that she would want, Lewis Hamilton's Eleanor. Okay, Google that. There'll be a red one turns up. That's exactly the one she wants in that exact colour. That colour, okay, his red Mustang, and it is a beautiful piece of kit. That red, she doesn't just want it on cars, she wants it on everything. Okay, that's her favourite colour in the world. And she's looking at this and she's like, I want to do a restoration project now. I want to have a go. As long as I've got gloves, I don't want to get my hands dirty, too dirty, obviously. So, you know, it's her to a T. But she's like, yeah, I'd really like to have a go at one of these. A resto project, I mean. That's the thing with working on cars. There is something about it. There's something, I don't know. There's just somebody who has absolutely sod all interest in the engines or the mechanics or anything like that goes around to see a car that they do not like. According to the photo, they can't stand it. They're going to be bored. Within a couple of hours, she's standing there going, what's that? What's that pipe do? It's a pipe. There was a pipe, goes off the top of the engine, goes round and then in towards the firewall. Hot air, fan, there you go. Anyway, what's that pipe do? What's this do? What's the other do? What's that? And we're standing there, and there's a pump. Now, we haven't told her what this is. We haven't said a word. She's standing there, looking at it and everything like that. Now, remember, a couple of hours ago, she couldn't tell you the difference between a cam belt and a crank. Really. And she said, I'm like, what are you looking at? Oh, just that pump down there. We hadn't said a word about what it was. It was just a water pump. We hadn't said a word about what it was. Within a couple of hours, a person, self-confessed, knows nothing about cars, had identified a water pump in a 94425 straight forward. Because she'd been listening to me. The thing with engines is you work it back. You see what's attached to it and then you work it back and see where it goes to. And that if you're unsure, that tells you what it is, or at least what it's for. And she'd just worked everything back, looking at the pump. And that's the thing with it. Something that somebody has no interest in, all of a sudden it's new and it catches you. And my other half saw myself and Stu having a laugh and a joke and a beer and having a look at the motor, because obviously my other half was driving, she was drinking tea. Don't worry, I don't drink and drive. And yeah, having a beer, having a laugh over the bonnet of this thing, and she saw the kind of camaraderie of it, the fun of it. It's actually quite interesting when you get into it. And now, of course, she wants to do one. I think the reason she wants to do one is because she wants me to go out and buy a 286 or a 289, sorry, or a 302 Mustang. And we can work on that, because her favourite car of all time is the Ford Mustang. original ones, the 60s ones. And I think that's why she's so enthusiastic about getting into car restoration, so as we can go and get a Mustang. So I have a nasty feeling that in not too distant future there's going to be a Mustang on the horizon. Not my favourite car, has to be said. To such a degree that usually I'm the one who goes out and does the shopping on my day off when my other half goes back to work and stuff like that. Well, she's gone out and done the shopping, so she's bought all the bits and bobs this time. She's being unusually nice all of a sudden. So I have a feeling I know what question's coming. So the thing is, if you're into your cars, then I really have to emphasise this to anybody who's into their cars. You know, you put different alloys on, you change the suspension out, you put a K&N air filter on, you put a body kit on it. That's not a restoration. That's customisation, an alteration. It's not a restoration. If you really want to get your hand dirty and you want something that's fun and you're relatively young, 2.8 Capri. Enough said. Literally. Go find yourself. Don't worry about the 1.6 lasers and the little 2 litre piles of junk. 2.8 Capri. Ooh. You'll learn how to keep the arse end out on a car or you'll crash. Trust me on that one. First wet rainy day, you don't have traction control. Go find yourself a little restoration project. A little bit of extra work to it. Different drive shaft, different rear axle, changing your engine mounts. A few odds and sods like that. So you can actually get the nitty gritty of customisation. You can bung a 5 litre V8 Chevy lump in them. Ooh. Then they sing, then they take off. But yeah, 2.8 Capri. Now I'm not a fan of Ford, but a Capri is the way forward. Definitely. So if you're young and you want a bit of a resto project and you want a bit of fun, remember it's a classic car. So let's say you're over 21 or you've got a very understanding parent. Get yourself a 2.8 Capri. You will have a lot of fun. A lot of fun. But it's just, if you're gonna do a car, then get something special. Don't just get a Saxo and bugger about with it. Don't just get a Polo and put those Euro wheel things on it, the coasters that they seem to come on now with the thin tyres. I mean, okay, it's an entire genre, it's an entire thing. It's not my personal taste, but it's somebody else's personal taste, so it's perfectly fine. I mean, I personally wouldn't do it, because at the end of the day, you get those thin tyres. If you corner that car properly, your alloy is now touching the floor. That's the end of your alloy, or the edge. If you corner it properly. I mean, if you're just going to potter around a bend, then whatever. But if you actually know how to corner a car, don't get thin tyres. But I'm classic. I just like them. But yeah, I could really go on for hours and hours and hours. So I shall shut myself up, and I shall most likely see you when I get to Didcot or Sherwell Valley, depending on how quick they want to chuck us out at Didcot, because it is a Tuesday. They are busy during the week. So, but yeah, no. When it comes to cars, there's something about them. Anybody who's watching me who's into cars, restorations, customization restorations, whatever, you know, the older classic cars, there's something about them. There really is. It can transform somebody like my other half, who, as long as it looks pretty, into... What's that bit do? What's that bit do? What are you staring at? Oh, just a pump. Did you tell her what that was? No. It's that thing. But anyway, I shall crack on, and I shall see you at one of my stops at some point. Well, that was that for me lunch. Thought I'd do a little, Greg's intro bit. Yeah, I had a sausage roll, and then I had 2 salads. A ham one, and I'm just eating it. What was the other one? I can't remember for the life of me. How weird is that? It was a ham one, because I know the ham one. I always buy the ham one. Oh, I can't remember what the other one was. Oh. That's weird. Anyway, doesn't really matter. Moving swiftly on. First of all, somebody sent me a note on Twitter saying he's actually learning loads from my bits and bobs. So, Jamie Hardy, there you go, giving you a shout out like you asked for. And what was the other one? Somebody picked me up. Alternative, but with an 8 instead of a T. Basically, in number 36, because obviously I'm running a little bit behind now, so I can't do these instantaneously, but in number 36, where I was doing all the roundabouts, I did one roundabout in Harlow. Now at the moment nobody else has picked me up on it, but that's at the time of recording this, and this is Tuesday. So by the time this comes out, there may be other people who've picked me up on it. But at 16 minutes 14 or so seconds, I'm indicating left following the 414, and there is a turning to the train station in Harlow before the 414 off the roundabout, and I'm indicating left before I get there. So that is my own mistake. I'm not saying I did that deliberately. I didn't. That is my own genuine mistake. I didn't even notice it when I was editing. That is a very good reason of, if you are in a lane, or a very good example I should say, if you are in a lane that is dedicated, you do not need to indicate. The reason being, you can be confusing to other road users. For example, all these Mercedes going past me. For example, I'm in a 414 lane. I'm going 414. I was indicating left. Now I'm in a truck. I'm not turning towards a train station. You wouldn't want to. But somebody could be coming out, see me indicating left, carry on and wallop. So there you go. That's why if you're in a dedicated lane, there is no point in indicating, because you're just going to cause confusion. So there we go. I thought I would mention that, seeing as I did make a mistake, and you know me, I hold my hand up. If I make a mistake, I cock up. But there we are. I'm going to finish off my break, bugger off to Wellingborough. Now, seeing how this vlog has so far probably gone on for quite some time with the couple of chats I've had so far, and a little bit of Greg's, I think what I shall do is I shall end my vlog now. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, share about, do whatever it is you usually do. I will see you in the next one, which is tomorrow, 12:30. So I've got some time in between my shifts today, which is a bonus because I am running way behind with all my editing and getting bits and bobs sorted out. I've got God knows what to do yet. I'm going, for anybody who's asking me little questions about, the tacho or how the gears work and all that kind of stuff, I'm currently working on a whole set of very short little videos, like putting the old card in and running through that and how this works. And I've edited a couple of them into vlogs that I've done so far, but Hammer Lane Apparel wanted me to do some shorts that they could you know, forward and like and share and all that kind of crap. So I'm working on some shorts, about 2.5 minutes, maybe less, maybe a couple of seconds more. And that's going to include redoing the airlines, the electrical lines, putting a card in, how these things work, various odds and sods. I've just taken a photo of the rules for this service area, and they're kind of universal. The costs vary, but they're kind of universal in that we have to pay to park in service areas. We have to pay for 24 hours. So I'm going to do a little skit on that and various bits and bobs. I'm going to be working on those up till the end of this week, and then Monday, Tuesday I'm going to edit them. I'm going to start uploading them. So anybody who's asking various questions, if I'm not answering them, chances are it's because I'm going to be doing a skit on them, a short little bit. I'm going to do a whole new intro for it. It's going to be tips and tricks and things like that. Haven't quite decided the name yet, but probably tips and tricks. And that's basically that, really. So they'll start going up probably on Tuesday. I'll probably start uploading those, and that will all be, I'll probably create a playlist specifically for that, and then I shall share that via Hammer Lane Apparel and those guys. So there you go. But anyway, cheers for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.